Welcome to Greek for a Week. I'm glad that you are watching this week's video. And this week, we are going to look at Paul's exhortation, which is in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 9 through 12. So I want to bring up the Greek text so that you can see some of the points that I will make on the diagram on the next slide. You'll notice how Paul begins with a pay day. So I'll talk through that as a transitional piece, or you could even say as a paragraph marker. I'll mention that on the next slide. You'll notice here a gar that's located verse 9 and one that's located in verse 10, which I would contend are supporting reasons for the infinitive here, that I do not have any need to write to you, Paul says. Then as we work our way through verses 10 and 11, you'll notice that we have several infinitives, and I will again make note of all of them in the next slide so that you can see how I organize them and hopefully see how Paul packages everything together with a final purpose clause in verse 12, which is not atypical of Paul. He seems to end some kind of a purpose or a result of the exhortation that's in the paragraph. So this particular diagram, again, will show you the flow of thought. The now concerning, here is Paul's paragraph marker, which is why we have verses 1 through 8 as a paragraph, and then verses 9 through 12 as a paragraph. And in this paragraph, he is going to discuss the love of the brethren, whereas in verses 1 through 8, it was about walking and pleasing God in light of sexual immorality. So this one, he's going to continue the theme of the love of the brethren that really he ended with in his wish prayer in chapter 3. He says, "You have not a need for me to write to you." Why? Number one, for you yourselves are taught for the purpose of loving one another. So you've already been taught that, so I don't need to write to you again. Okay, and not only do I not need to write it to you because you've been taught, but you are already doing it. So you're doing it to all the brethren in all Macedonia. But I do want to urge you. I want to encourage you and urge you to abound more. And that's a complementary infinitive from the verb urge. So we urge you to do what? To abound more. And that would be the loving of one another. That's what I want you to abound more in. And to make it your ambition. All right, so there's going to be some ambition, not only to abound more in love, but the ambition is to lead a quiet life and to attend to your own business and to work with your own hands. So I'm suggesting each one of these infinitives are exegetical. I'm contending that they further defined what it means to make it my ambition. And this I'm contending here, these three infinitives I'm contending will be to unbelievers. Whereas this loving one another is specifically to the believing community. So Paul is asking that they continue, abound more and more in their love for one another, and then make it your ambition to do these things. Again, leading a quiet life, attending to your own business, and working with your own hands. I would contend there that's just having a good testimony to the community. And that would be to the unbelievers. And that's why we have a chi here. Then the purpose for that is so that you will walk decently toward those who are without, and you will not have any need. So this purpose really kind of goes back to here. The purpose for making it your ambition to do these things is so that you have, again, a good testimony toward those that are without. and they don't need to wait on you hand and foot, so to speak. All right, so how can we transition then into some kind of a preaching or teaching outline? Remember, Paul is now concerned with brotherly love. He says there's no need that I write to you about this, and that is the brotherly love, because you've been taught and you're already doing it. So I'm going to urge you. And what am I urging you to do? I'm urging you to love more and to make it your ambition. So to love more, you could say Paul is now urging them to love the brethren more and more, and to make it your ambition to walk decently toward those that are without, so that you don't have a need to bother them. So again, hopefully you can see that paragraph, how it works out. And we will move on to verse 13 next week. And that'll be a great passage, because that is the passage about the rapture of the church. Have a great week.